Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Sports Point of View, the show where there's no fluff, it's all talk and all about Arizona sports. I'm your host, Joanna Rosali, and if you missed last week's episode, we took a deep dive into the Arizona Diamondbacks' rocky season and the growing pressure on their manager, Torey Lovello, to turn things around. We also took a dive into the Athletes Unlimited Softball League and touched on the latest buzz from the Gold Cup and the boxing ring. But today we're turning our focus back to the hardwood and the diamond. And we are going to start with the Phoenix Suns making headlines again. Big changes are at the top with the brand new head coach in Jordan Ott and general manager Brian Gregory stepping in at the helm. We'll also revisit the Kevin Durant trade rumor mill. Plus, we're checking in on the Phoenix Mercury as they fight to find the rhythm and momentum. All right, now let's welcome in our special guest, someone who really needs no introduction in the Arizona sports world, Earl Burnett, a seasoned Arizona sports insider. He is KSRN, the Casual Sports Radio Network. For those unfamiliar, you probably may have heard his work on KSRN. And he's, on the sidelines. He also has all the sharp takes and all things around the valley. So Earl, he has the in on everything from the Suns to the Mercury to the Diamondbacks and everything in between. But he's here to break it all down with us. And now I'm excited to have you here, Earl, in Sports Point of View, ready to dig into some of the biggest headlines, like I just mentioned, and maybe drop a little of that insider knowledge while we're at it. But Earl, buddy, welcome to Sports Point of View. Thank you for joining me. How's it going?
Hey Joe, how you doing? I appreciate you having me in. Let me make one thing clear on my introduction. Everything that you get from Earl Burnett from Casual Sports is Earl Burnett Casual Sports opinion. I'm not an insider. I don't have any inside information. But I give that take that a lot of people just pretty much don't find the popular take. But I mean, it's my personal opinion. But that's I just wanted to clear that up because I know there's a lot of hearsay going on about what's going on right now in the world of sports right now, and I do not want to put on record that I'm reporting anything because, like I said,
Hey,
it's just personal
you're
opinion.
at the games. You see what's going on, the ins and outs of what's happening.
Right.
So with covering sports, you always are an insider. So that's my opinion, but to each their
Okay.
own.
Well, if you're gonna label it that way, that's fine with me if you saying that. But I'm just letting you know for the record.
Uh,
No, just yeah, I appreciate that though. Yeah, we're definitely always on site, and the radio station is pretty much doing its thing, and all there's a lot of insight from all the shows that are on the network, and then myself, of course, I give you what I think. So that's pretty much if that's an insider, then I guess I'm an insider.
well,
uh,
it's been a while. I had to have you on and talk some sports. It's been a minute since we've done that. With everything that's going on, especially with we're gonna go ahead and kick it off right away with the Phoenix Suns. There's a lot of you know things that are happening with the new head coach, the new GM, what their vision is, and what does this signal for the future of the Phoenix Suns, Earl? One of the
right.
focus that seems that it's been a constant in these interviews or these pressers from coming from both of them is alignment, and that's the key word that they keep referencing to, is that, and to building a culture around execution and and community. So among many other things, which I know we'll get into, but what does this mean for the Phoenix Suns with these two additions?
You know, this is one thing. Like I said, you're gonna get from me. You're not gonna get the same cookie cutter stuff that you're hearing around. You
And that's
know,
what I like.
Arizona sports. Yeah, I mean, most of the analysts, they have a good opinion about what's going on. I'm not, you know, calling nobody out for anything, but everybody seems to be, you know, nobody wants wants to say what the ring wants to hear. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to step on anybody's toes. And I'm that guy that's like, you know what? I've been covering this for too dang on long to be holding back anything. You know what I mean? Like, I see what I see. I know what I've seen, and so far with the two new hires, they're good hires in my opinion. But at the same time, we got to hold back anything we need to ask about what they're going to do until something is actually done. Because what they've done last year and the year before that, they've given us no kind of confidence to believe anything is going to change for this team. You know what I mean? I guess I'm the skeptical. And it's okay to be skeptic because we've been through a lot as Phoenix Suns fans and analysts and reporters and media, whatever. That team just did not do us any. They did us all dirty, and so now we're kind of
Right.
like, look, I'm kind of looking on both sides. I need to see something first before I have an opinion about what they're gonna do work wise. But when it came down to just their accolades and the things that got them where they are, hey, you hire who you feel like's best for the job. And I don't have no problem with the hires, but it's just, hey, don't start talking all this. We're gonna be this, we're gonna be that, and we're gonna do this, we're gonna do. Hey, I don't want to hear none of that. Let's just see what it looks like when it's time to go to work. Because at this point in time, I'm just like, whatever, you know.
Yeah, because it is one thing, seeing it on paper and how that executes out on the floor and, and as the season progresses. And for me, hearing the word alignment coming from the GM, BG, and from the head coach, it's one for me, it's definitely a key word coming, especially from the front office. And it's something that we haven't really seen or haven't even be a major focus, for at least a couple of seasons, not since Monty Williams. There wasn't that. The last couple of seasons, we didn't see that chemistry. And, I'm really interested to see how this new front office and coach will steer the team, the players, and the culture with them, because it's definitely much needed. And there were very high expectations last season, and they fell short is very, I don't think is the correct word, but there was a major disappointment.
Yes. Yeah, I agree 100%. Short is definitely, and be careful to fall into the alignment gimmick. Okay, I mean, it's a gimmick until proven different. In my opinion, it's like, okay, yeah, you got to come up with something that's going to divert everybody's eyes off of what we saw last year and the year before that. So all this alignment talk and all the right words is, hey, that's what we got to hear because that's the consensus cookie cutter thing. When a new coach gets hired, they're gonna say the right things. They're not gonna come out and say anything that's gonna be derogatory over anybody else, or they're not gonna call anybody else out. They're not gonna call out what those players looked like last year. They're not gonna do any of that stuff that the fans really want to hear. So in my opinion, it's all gimmick until it changes and it goes. And I'm not saying we're gonna necessarily have to be, you know, a winning team. I want to see what the difference is. If I see what I saw last year, as long as it's not that, I'm okay. I mean, Suns might not win a lot of games, but
Mm-hmm.
they might not win a lot of games. But as long as that culture is different and the attitude on the court is different and the give a darn is different. I mean, I want to see my team care and go out there and put their heart on the line and go play a basketball game. And if they win, if the other team's better, the other team's better. Sometimes the other team's just better and they beat you. But give it your all. And we did not see that from this team for the last 2 years. Having superstars on it, that's what's really mind blowing to
Oh
me, is you got
gosh.
superstars on the team and they cannot elevate the role players. Nobody can do the star players don't show up for the big game. It's like, come on. So for right now, like I said, I know you're in the media. I'm in the media, and I'm that dude that's like I said, I'm different. I say that right off the bat. I'm different. I don't fall for that gimmick stuff. That's gimmick stuff to me. Until I see different, it is what it is. It's pretty much new hire jargon, and we have to hear it because we have to hear it because we're in the media and we have to listen to it.
Right. And one of the things that you mentioned, just, seeing, we have to see the results, and, and with the fans,
Yeah.
you need to execute, you need to see that. And that's one of the things that they also mentioned was, one of the things that they're going to be process oriented, and are they going to be getting better? and that's in front of mine for them. And I think that's something I don't, at least I don't recall myself being mentioned. Yes, they're saying all the right words, and ahead of the season and with all these changes, but even with the new head coach, when we had the new head coach last year with Bud,
Right.
this is something that wasn't addressed, and it seems like this they have acknowledged it. They've
Right.
acknowledged their faults and what
Right.
needs to happen. But is it really going to happen?
If if it had been that type of conversation in that press conference, then you can respect it a little bit more. Like, okay, we're heading in a different direction for sure. It's definitely a different direction because it's a different person running. It's not the same coach. It's going in a different direction anyway. But I would have loved to have seen him get on that podium and not so much throw anybody under the bus, but at least acknowledge that those players did not do what they were supposed to do. And then when they mentioned Devin Booker, it's like, oh, let me take y'all back to a story long. Now you're going way back to, we knew what he was back then. We're talking about the Devin Booker right now that put out that product that we saw last year. And I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with that at all. I'm like, hey, look, I hope that's something that's on the inside that we just don't know about. That, hey, if he's that type of coach, he's going to call guys out. I hope he holds guys accountable and not afraid to step in some of these star faces and step in front of these star faces and hold them accountable. Because the last two guys didn't do that. The last two guys, the last two guys did it by the name on the back, and they would not, that's all that matters. Is that's Book and that's Katie, and I'm gonna sugarcoat it this way to get them to kind of follow what I want. No, I need a guy that's gonna come in here and call it an ace and call it like it is. You know what I'm saying? Call it like it is. Look, hey, Book, you're not as good as you think you are. Last year you stunk. I mean, let's call it like it is. And I would have loved to have seen something on those lines on that press conference. Hey, look, we know we did not get Booker's best last year. We're going to get him back to the Book that we know. I would have loved to have heard that. Then I can sit back and go, okay, hey, we got a guy that's going to hold these dudes accountable, and I'm looking forward to it. But until then, it's gimmick to me, and I'm just waiting and we're going to wait to see what happens.
And I'm glad that you brought that up, because there was a lot of moments that the players would speak out or speak up, and then they would have to go back and retract what they said or make a clarification, quotation marks around that. And we know why that occurred was because someone wasn't happy, and or the coach or someone would come back and say, no, that's not the case. This is what it is, when we actually knew, us as media and even as fans, because they, things would get out and you would see them, you would see them on video, you would see them on, on pre-game, post-game, whatnot. And you saw that extend to the court in the team chemistry. You saw that extend to the relationships, not only as players, but as camaraderie. That wasn't there, and the morale was very low. So I'm really interested to see, definitely. I don't know if you are, Earl, how Ott is going to change that for the team and how he can set them for long-term success.
Yeah, I agree. I'm definitely looking forward to it. And like I said, I'm not doubting a man's credibility. He like he said in the press conference, he owned the right to be there, to be here. And I'm definitely not questioning him as the new coach. I'm happy he's the new coach. I'm just saying, at this point, I want to see what the product's going to look like after I've seen it. It's easy to come in here and say, we're going to this, we're going to that, we're going to look like that, we're going to look like that, the alignment is this and the alignment is that. That's all talk until it's actually action. But I like from where he came from, for sure. I love that, that Cleveland Cavaliers pedigree, if that's what he's trying to bring to this Phoenix Suns team and build them around that type of hustle and all out defense and all out, if they're that type of team, then hey, more power to you, and I'm all for it. But until then, like I said, I mean, as a coach though, Joe, as a coach, you can only teach what you know. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You can only teach what you know. So he does know some good things that from some really, really good coaches, and hopefully he can get in there and take over the reins of the whole operation and not be that yes man. I just don't want another yes man. You know what I mean? I don't want to see
Right.
another yes man. And the yes man is that guy that's going to get up on the podium after a game when you know that player stunk the building up and come in there and say, yeah, I saw some good things. We did some good things. He was okay. He just didn't do that. No. Tell it like it is. He
Acknowledge
was
your
not good
faults.
tonight. Yeah, he was not good tonight. I mean, you want that guy that's going to just be transparent, just tell you exactly. I mean, maybe not everything. He ain't going to tell us everything,
Right.
but at least be that guy that's going to hold that player accountable in the media. So that player knows, okay, if I start screwing up and don't give a darn like they was doing last year, I'm gonna get called out. We need some more Phil Jacksons. We need some more Steve Kerrs. We need some more guys Popoviches that are gonna call dudes out in the public and not
Yeah.
afraid to do it. I think we need more of that, but we'll see. Like I said, I got a whole lot of stuff in my head about this team that that I just spit it out every little chance I get, but it's not gonna be the same. It's not gonna ever be the same stuff that you're hearing because, like I said, every man has their own opinion, and I respect everybody in this business and their opinions, and I love it. It's part of the game, but this is just what I've seen with my own eyes. I'm like, look, I've seen enough to say right now. I got to see something before I say anything on about where we going. But
Right.
but it is what it
And
is. It is
with
what
that
it is.
being said too, that's something that actually was brought up to them being the coach and the GM, and being held accountable and allowing us media to, get more insight, get, for those questions to be
Oh
answered and have,
yeah,
accountability.
yeah,
And, they said they would take it into consideration, and I'm really interested to see, what they, if they will do that, how they will handle that, or how that's going to be different from last year, because the year before that, in or the prior seasons before, that was something that was done, and it's done pretty much in any other, sports, at least here in Arizona and many others around the country, is the coach will answer your questions and be honest and have the accountability, and we'll go around the room and address any questions or concerns. And that's something that was not done last season, which was very surprising of a coach, and especially
yeah.
of who that person was here in the Valley, and to only, be limited to what you can ask or information to be
Yeah,
given. So,
I definitely
yeah.
respect that. I respect that question. That came from one of my media friends, Barry.
I love Barry.
He yeah, he doesn't hold any punches. I love it. I would put myself in that same category. It's like, look, I'm just gonna ask what the fans what the fans really want to know, and and that's kind of how I run things with casual sports when I do my show. It's like, look, this is what the fans are asking. I don't really, I'm not gonna come in here with the same old media cookie cutter media stuff. No, and that was one of those questions that I was excited to hear that question because I was like, wow, this dude he actually asked this question. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I would love to see a coach to come in and be transparent. It's like, look, this is what it answer all the questions. Don't have no agenda that you got a time frame on which people can answer questions and how many questions you want to answer. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these coaches come in
Pick
here
your
and start to
favorites. Yeah.
yeah, they start to run the whole building because they just want their way. And from what I'm hearing, Budenholzer was just not a sociable type of person, so he wanted out of that damn media room faster than fast. So,
That
but
yeah, that's what I
that
heard
that's
among
done.
other
That's
things.
done.
Yeah.
That's done. So,
So now let me go ahead and shift the conversation as we go ahead and close this segment out. I have two more things for you, Earl. Is,
hmm
talking team, talking new, identity, and what this is going to look like. What should this Phoenix Suns look like? I know
ooh,
it's
ooh.
with what we're hearing, if all the things are true, and they are going to be transparent, and they're going to, hold themselves accountable, and do, have, they're coming in with the win mentality, and they're saying all the pretty things. And if that is actually true, what should this Phoenix Suns in 2025-26 look like?
I'm gonna give you two words, and this is the same words I've been saying when I was writing about how bad they were looking, and all the way up until where we are today, and what I would love to see: mentally tough. I want to see this team be mentally tough. This team, and not just the Suns, all of the Arizona teams are some mentally weak teams. We are when it comes to that have to show up and We got a big game. If we win this game, we're on top of the division. If we win this game, we go to the next level. If we win this game, we catch up in the playoff runnings. We just fail in all those situations. I would love to see our team be a little bit more mentally strong. And that's something that you gotta that's not you have to be that type of person, so can we get those type of guys to come in here just that are mentally strong when things go bad, when things go south, they got a person that's going to be able to fight off the media noise, fight off the noise about what's going on, what they think is going on in their locker room, and still get on that court and buckle down and mentally take care of their job and take care of business. I want to see them mentally strong. That's what I mean. As far as style, hey, that could be today's NBA is all over the place. You got fast style, you got you got 3-pointers all going all over. Okay, that's one thing. Offense is one thing. Mentally tough is on the defensive side. Mentally tough is on the defensive side of the ball. And when
Something
you're
they've been
mentally
lacking for a
tough,
long time.
absolutely, absolutely. And when you're mentally tough, look at these just as an example. Look at these playoffs right now, and this championship that we're watching with
Boy.
Indiana. Oh my goodness! If we could get a team that's even somewhere remotely headed in that direction, we'll be fine because they are a mentally tough team. I mean, they go through some adverse situations where they're down 20 or they're down in a series or everybody's counting them out, and they've picked themselves up and stay strong mentally up, and keep themselves focused enough to take care of the job at hand. And Suns just falter when the first wrong thing happens. My shot didn't go in on my first time, so I'm down. I'm out this game. You know what I mean? Little stuff like
Right.
that's like, come on now. I mean, you should not be a superstar in this league and get taken out of your game that quick. And I want to say another thing about mentally tough, and where I think a lot of the Suns' mental toughness it was not there last year because we spent too much time, and this is Booker, KD, all your stars spend too much time running to the referee on every little thing that goes, every last shot you take, you run to the referee and complain about something. And then
Right. Oh no. Looks like we're losing connection with you, Earl.
lost you.
There you go. We have you
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, I'm kind of taking care of some business. Like I said, I'm out in the open. So, but yeah,
No
like I was
worries.
saying, as we're complaining to the refs, the play's going on behind us. you know,
Yeah.
the play's going on. You're supposed to be getting back on defense, but the play's going on, and you're back there complaining to the refs. So, I just want to see some mental toughness. That's all it is. That's all I want to see
And with you
because I
saying
think
that,
that would change everything.
I do want to ask, do we have any players that can have that mental toughness? Can that be taught?
Um, you know what? It can be taught by example. Yes, if you got a guy, if your leaders are mentally tough, then the role players are going to be mentally tough. And our leadership was not mentally tough. I mean, we got a guy on our team, Ryan. Dang, my head's going crazy right now. Ryan, our superstar rookie that we got in from last couple of years.
Done.
Yeah, man, my head just went blank. Yeah, my Ryan Dunn
Ryan Dunn.
and Ryan Dunn and Oso, mentally tough
Oh
dudes
gosh.
because they buckle down and they defend and they give their all and go 100%. But if their leaders are not doing it, they will start lacking in it too.
All right. So to wrap up with the Phoenix Suns, I want to go ahead and touch this and get into a little bit of that rumor mill with Kevin Durant. We're hearing possible, interest in a trade here, trading him off. Um, the Phoenix Suns have declined to comment on that. Seems like there's something maybe in the works. Hasn't been confirmed or denied. Is this something that could be feasibly possible for the Suns to entertain? And especially with being the Phoenix Suns don't have any draft picks, which the NBA draft is here, coming around the corner. We have that the free agency and trades that they will have to rely on, as well as player development. What are your thoughts
Right.
on this, Earl?
As far as what are we doing in the off season or what's coming up as
With
far as
Kevin
trades?
Durant. and what can happen with
Oh, Kevin Durant.
Kevin
I'm sorry.
Durant and
I'm sorry.
player shifting. Yes.
Yeah, well, we definitely know one thing: his time in Phoenix has just run out, and more than just being his contract situation and where the team is. I mean, everybody's talking about we have to get rid of him because we have to build a new team. We have to have our most valuable guy give us some assets and all of that. But beyond all of that, his time has run out anyway because he didn't bring what we thought the Kevin Durant we were going to be getting. I mean, he was still good. He was still good on an individual basis, but I thought he was going to be the Kevin Durant that will propel the Phoenix Suns to be to be automatically a playoff team no matter what. And we didn't even look nowhere near like a playoff team. And you would think that his presence and his ability would have propelled and elevated everybody's game to get to that level, and he didn't. So his time has run out here, and his time as a superstar may be running out as far as how old he's getting, and he's declining and those things, and that's part of being a player. But yes, he's going to definitely be traded because the Phoenix Suns are in a position right now where they have to get something back for him to start building for their future, and that's pretty much all we're stuck with. He has to be traded. He has to be traded. It's not that if things were different and we didn't have and we had all the assets that we had all the assets we needed, and we didn't give up a whole farm for him when we got him, and everything was on the up and up. Right now, I think he probably would be coming back to finish out his contract, but the fan base probably doesn't think that way. The fan base is like, hey, we didn't see that same KD that was in Golden State. That's the one we wanted. But you know, when you get old, and you can't fight that. It is what it is. But yeah, I see them trading them. I mean, per the sources that are going around right now, as far as the media goes, I like to give guys their credit because I'm not here reporting it. I mean, my guy Gamble at the 98.7 and all those shams and all the guys that are reporting it are saying that we have to trade him because, of course, to start to build this team and for their future. So, I mean, that's obvious. So it has to happen.
All right. Well, from one planet to another, we're gonna go ahead and head on to talk a little bit about the Phoenix Mercury. They're
Oh,
having
yeah,
a
that's my
strong
squad
start.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a new feels. We have some new feels out there with this team. They are a 7-4 record, which is ties with their second best start since 2018. So
Hmm.
they're making some impact on the court. They are gritty. They are fighting this. I'm loving this new core, this new group of gals, and they're seem to be making an impact on not only on the court but also off the court. So
Hmm.
how do you see this new rotation? It seems like they have very smart players. They're making once they do get the rest, because they did have a really rough go there with a lot of games very frequent. But how are you seeing this new team compared to other seasons, Earl?
Oh, wow. Everything that I said against the Phoenix Suns, I love about the Mercury. Mentally, you want to say mentally tough? The Mercury are mentally tough. The Mercury are physical. They are no nonsense. Their superstars have grabbed a hold of rookies, and rookies have been elevated doing things that rookies shouldn't do. And this team is just taking off because of the structure around their concepts and their culture and all that stuff. It's taken off because those superstars are mentally tough. Those superstars are are not going to accept mediocrity. And you look at this team, we have three rookies are playing in the starting lineup every once in a while, in and out here and there, and they're doing
That
things
never
you like,
happens in a
yeah,
WNBA
it's
team.
like, wow, like, hold on a second. Why are those rookies so confident? It's because the superstars on the team are confident and instilling that confidence in them, that they believe in them, and that they have elevated those players to another level. And I would love to have seen that with the Suns, with KD and Book and Bill. They didn't do that with the team that we have, with last year's team. But these women, they compete. They they don't stop competing. And then you think
They
about
will
it.
get in your face.
They will get in your face. They are going to compete until the zeros are on the clock. There were games they were down in the fourth quarter and you thought the game was over with and they come fighting back. And I mean, and they're doing all of this with rookies and they're doing all of this minus one of their supers, probably their best player on the team.
Yeah,
So it's like, come on now. That's well all we want. I wasn't even expecting to be this good 7-4. I was expecting to see if they that with that attitude they had in this training camp. I said, well, this team at least we know is going to compete. They'll be hanging around. They just exceeded all expectations right now. So you gotta,
they have. I
I
knew
mean,
they were going to
give
be
it up.
good,
Give it up for them. I
but
mean, give it up
not
for
this
coach the
good.
coach Tippett. I mean, this guy connected with his team and did it fast, quick, and they believe in him and they're going right where he wants them to go. So I love everything about the Mercury right now. I think they're the second best team in the West right now. So I think they're gonna when they get fully healthy and get Copper get some games under her belt and get some continuity going with
Oh,
Alyssa and get some, and Sabali. Oh my goodness, they can dethrone Minnesota. They can take
I am
down New
so
York.
excited.
They're gonna be a hard out in the playoffs. Watch, they're gonna be a hard out because they have heart, they have grit, they compete with their hearts out, and they have mental toughness. I love everything about the Mercury.
I want to ask you with this, and definitely, I knew they were going to be good. You said exceeded expectations, especially with all of the changes that occurred during the off season.
Hmm.
Diana Taurasi retiring,
Oh
BG
yeah,
leaving for another
yeah,
team, as well as Spicy Sophie Cunningham, and
yeah. I miss
leaving
Sophie.
only a
Yeah,
couple of returning players, and the
right.
big one and taking that throne, Kalia Copper, seemed like it was going to be a major challenge. But did you like? My gosh, it's like they didn't skip a beat, and that actually use that as a fuel to
Yeah,
propel them to where they are. I don't. What do you think that could have
yeah.
helped to?
Yeah, it does. It definitely helped. And at the same time, I mean, they were just kind of like putting a band-aid on everything last year. They knew Diana was getting close to the end. They knew that the team that they had on paper was not the team Tippett wanted on that he wanted. So they just worked with what they had and did the best they could with what they had. And they still competed. They just were not as good as some of the other teams, and they still were competing. But now they were able to say, okay, now we're going to go get the team we really want. And that's what they did. They used their ass. They used BG as the asset to get what they want, moved her on, and now they got players that they want that match what the coaches want to run. And that's if you don't make that match, you're gonna struggle. And
Right,
Budenholzer struggled with it. I think Frank
Vogel.
Vogel struggled with that, making that perfect match between what I really want to do and with the players I need to do what I really want to do. Meaning the player's going to get behind you no matter what and do what you want them to do. That's the first thing. If the player ain't going to follow you, you can kiss it goodbye. And that's what we had in the Phoenix Suns.
Okay, cool. So, keeping with the Phoenix Mercury, I do want to bring up one star that has just amazed me out there on the floor has been Alyssa Thomas. She was out for a few games due to injury, and she just returned against the Dallas Wings, and her style of play totally like impresses me. Just
Yeah.
the way she's able to move the ball, the way she's able, like her quickness, and how she's able to find those shooters to go ahead and get that release, or she can find them making a way to get to the rim. And she, like, if you want to see a perfect example that has everything like in her style of play, that game with the Dallas Wings like displayed it all. And you can tell she was hungry to come back. She was eager and ready, and boy, did she execute. What do you think about this Alyssa Thomas that we're seeing out there?
I see an MVP. I see the MVP. I mean, of course, MVP for the Mercury team, but if she didn't get hurt those few games, she could be definitely atop the list of MVP for the league. Um, she's unbelievable. She lives in the paint. Tell me the last time you saw Alyssa Thomas take a jump shot from outside.
Oh, goodness.
She lives in the
Nope.
paint. She lives in the paint, and she loves what she does is she's really smart. She loves to go into the paint for more than one reason. Of course, she's going in there to suck the defense in, and she uses her kickouts and finds her open players at the same time. She bullies her way to the rim when they really need buckets. So they have. Can you imagine when Copper gets back? You're gonna have to deal with all three of them in many different in those ways. You're gonna have to deal with
Ye-
Alyssa just getting to the rack when every time she wants to, and Copper lives going to the ball to the basket as well. So she lives in the paint. She makes the whole team. She makes the whole machine go. And when she's healthy, she's tough to stop. She's gonna be in the MVP running if she stays healthy. Because
Yeah, she
this team's gonna go where she leads them pretty much.
yeah, she was unstoppable yesterday, and like and talking about getting in people's face, she's one of those. Like she will get in your face, she will tell you, or she will even laugh in your face after she makes a bucket. You
Yeah.
know, it
I
like her
think the person
character
I think the
is
person that gets in your
amazing.
face, I think Satu's the one that gets in your face. That girl
That
is
she too, both
she
of them.
is hyper, man. I like she want to fight everybody. But
Both
yeah,
of them. They're very
yeah,
aggressive for
they're really
sure.
aggressive. Exactly. They're really aggressive and they stay aggressive. They keep the pressure on you. And you can tell when it's days when they don't have it scoring, they bring it other ways, you know. They bring it on the
Yes.
defensive end, they bring it on the hustle end. They letting you know I'm not gonna ever be in the back behind the play. They're right there where they need to be, even if the shot's not falling. So you just love effort like that. You love it. You love it. I mean, I love to see effort like that because you can't teach that. That's just in somebody's heart. Period.
Yeah, exactly. That's basketball that you cannot teach. And talking
Mm-hmm.
star players and MVPs, we have the All-Star voting that just kicked off for the WNBA. We'll be seeing, who makes it. Who of these Mercury players, I haven't seen the full list, but who's deserving of getting to the All-Star game for the Mercury?
Well, it's kind of tough because it's kind of unfair too. Because yeah, the All Star game they have the rookie thing too for women's side, right? Where the
Uh,
rookies play. Yeah, if that's the
yeah.
case, then we're gonna have some rookies on there. I mean, um, I forgot the girl's name. Oh my god, my head just gets blank.
I don't
Uh,
have my list right now. My mind is
Monique,
going blank as well.
Monique.
Yes,
Her last
Mo.
name. Yeah, her last name's
Alcoa
kind of.
Makani.
There you go. There you go. I say her now. I just use initials. But yeah, she should be definitely in the rookie um class, of course, for All Star. And then of course you're gonna have Sabali and Alyssa have to be there. I mean, they've transformed this team from a barely 500 team last year to a top number two team in the West. So I mean, come on, the teams that are at the top usually put the stars on the floor on the All Star game. So I think we're
I
going to have
expect
at
to see
least
every
two.
single Mercury player. Like that would be amazing. Which of course won't happen. But
No,
they're
no,
just all
no,
deserving
because
of being there.
the stars usually make everything go. So the stars are going to make everything go. When you got a star that's commanding a double team or commanding more attention or whatever, then it's giving those other players free opportunity to take advantage of that opportunity, which is fine. That's good basketball. But the stars are going to be the ones that going to get the recognition for when a team is elevated to another level. So I think the Mercury are on another level right now. They haven't gotten to where they're going to be yet, and they still are finding ways to win games. So that's credit to coaching staff, of course, the culture, but those stars make it go. Sabali and Alyssa are making that whole machine go. So I think they're going to, of course, both of those, both of them should be there. If they're not, then I don't know what kind of league we run in there.
Yeah, and I will say given the complete change with the Phoenix Mercury and all the newness of it all, the X Factor has definitely shown up for this team and sold out crowds in PHX Arena. And I'm just beside myself with how great this has been received, by the fans.
Well, yeah, the X Factor shows out when we were under 500 last year. The X Factor showed out when they was two and something last year. The X Factor is going to be there. That's not even an issue. They're always going to be there. Now
Yeah,
it's elevated and it's more energetic and it's louder because the
more
teams are winning.
intense.
yeah, more intense
Like I'm
and
surprised
more.
at the intensity of it all.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
intensity. Yeah, they're more intense now because the team's winning and the team is looking like a team that can compete for a championship. So yeah, but the X factor was always there. They have
Oh,
supported this
definitely.
team. They supported this team from day one, and they haven't stopped. You don't. That's one thing. The difference between, I don't know if it's just the women's basketball thing or is it just because, I don't know. Women have a different way of competing. They go hard. They don't ever stop.
We go all in and we're aggressive.
They
We're super
go all
competitive.
in aggressive. They go hard, and sometimes that NBA thing get too relaxed, and dudes just know, I know I'm good. I'm the star of the player of the team, and I can kind of relax tonight and blah blah. They don't relax. They go hard.
I
So
have a proposal to the commissioner, the NBA commissioner.
mhm.
Too long of a season. Shorten that season up, and you're
Oh
gonna see
yeah,
how much more competitive these guys are gonna be.
yeah. I agree with that. It is too long. 82 games. It is too long. Yeah, I agree with that. Cut that down to
Just
like
just a thought.
62,
Yeah.
62, and let
A
it go from
sweet
there.
spot between 60 and 70.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And you cut back on the injuries, you cut back on, and then you cut and you increase the playoffs because all the star players will be somewhat healthy enough to play them
And camp.
and get through them. And so, yeah, I mean, injuries are going to happen no matter what, how many games they playing, but you got a better chance at having some good matchups with some good players going at each, head to head in playoff matchups if they, if they can stay healthy in these long, long, long seasons. So yeah, I agree. They need to cut it short, but they're not going to do that. That's the NBA's. That's the money train. They're not going to cut the money train off. Yeah, you know how that goes.
Exactly. You read my mind.
Yeah, they're not
Uh,
going to cut that off.
all right.
But
I'm
then
gonna go
again,
ahead and
would you cut it off if you were a business? Let me just cut this off my business and go down a little less than what I. No, you gonna keep that business get
there
growing.
are very many ways to go
Yeah,
ahead and make money, but you
yeah.
know, I would weigh it. Yes, the money's good, but also think of your players.
Your product. Yeah,
Health,
your product. Yeah,
your
your
product,
product
the
is
quality.
everything. Yeah,
Do you want
yeah,
quantity? Do you want quality? Do you want profit? Do you want,
yeah,
a good, product out there, production,
yeah.
maybe,
I hear you. I hear you.
decrease the season, expand a few teams, get more money in that way. The marketing, find a way to do that. There's other ways
Yeah,
that you can go ahead and supplement that.
yeah. I hear you. I'm with you. I just know they're not gonna do it, but
That's a conversation for another day, though.
right, right.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and reel things back in, and I just want to go real quickly from the court to the diamond, and I want to talk about the Diamondbacks. They're sitting right now at 500, 34 and 34, with a short winning streak, in their pocket of 3 games. So, but there's, some questions that are still remain, maybe some concerns. There's been pressure with Torey Lovello, and is it fair to have put that pressure on him, or to give him that responsibility, to turn that team around? Where do you see things right now with the Arizona Diamondbacks? Can this be adjusted? And I don't know what needs to change here. Is it something that falls on Torey? Is it something that falls on the front office, or is it a player factor?
Well, it's everybody, of course, and there's no one person you can point to when things are going bad. Even when things are going good, you can't point to just one person. But when you look at this team, they are who they are. I mean, 34 wins, 34 losses. What are you? You're up and down. You're mediocre. You're right in the
You're a
middle.
roller
But
coaster.
yeah, you're a roller coaster. You're just going up and down, up and down. If you stay at 500, you're just up and down, up and down. So which team are you getting? Are you going to get that team that can be a really good team when they compete and they're playing Diamondback baseball? When they're playing Diamondback baseball, they're causing havoc all over the dang diamond. I mean, you got guys stealing bases and running all over the place. And so when when they set the tone this year with bad defensive plays, that kind of start to set them off the wrong direction to me, in my opinion. Because they used to be always, no matter what happens, they were a good defensive team. They would
Yeah.
just eat the ball up when it hits the ground. Boom, they eat it up and they just knew where to go. The ball had to go exactly where it needed to go. And boom, they would make that play. This year, they just have not made those plays all the time. And they're starting to get better at it. They're starting to work at it and get it back under control a little bit. But it was automatic when they went to the World Series that year. And then, last year, even if the up and down season last year, they still were a good defensive team. So this year, they've just been really. I mean, I know that comes with changes. You got a new guy at first base. You got all these new changes, but some of the guys that have been here are making some of the mistakes. So it's
Right.
like, okay, where that could fall on coaching, and that's where I was worried about this locker room falling on deaf ears when it comes to Torrey. I'm thinking they're used to it. They know what he's going to say before he says it. So it's like, do we need a new voice? And that's where we were starting to lean toward. But one thing you can't do yet, you can't move Torrey because they're still responding to him to a degree.
Right.
They get up when he says, they know what he's going to say. They know he's not going to throw crap all around the locker room and curse all day. Oh, maybe that is happening. I don't know. Maybe it is, but we don't see that, Tori. We see that guy that comes up on the podium and never throws a guy under the bus. He
Talk about
always
transparency.
loyal to his player to a fault sometime where he's just too
Yeah.
loyal, where he sticks with him so long and too long to where it's starting to hurt the team. And so now he's starting to just do his thing where he is now, where they're coming back. They got 3 games. They just swept series after getting swept in a series, and then first winning another series, sweeping one series, get swept, and then now they swept one. And it's like this up and down thing is like you're gonna be who you are, and if that's who you are, you're gonna stay that way, and you're not gonna move. You're gonna stay right there, and you're gonna be watching the playoffs when the playoffs are going on at the end of the season. So can they turn it around? They still got plenty of time, a little bit under 100 games still left, and the injuries are not doing them any justice. I mean,
No, not at
injuries
all.
are killing this team, and we're talking major injuries to major guys, to your starting lineup, starting bullpen. Everybody's hurt or have been hurt at some point to where they stopped the progress of this team. And
But it seems like this
um,
has been the case every single season for at least like at least the last 3. There, you always have someone, a major player, hurt, and they just
yeah,
can't. I don't know what it is. They just
yeah,
can't stay healthy as a team in general.
it's one thing to have one star player hurt, and then a lot of knickknacks to all the people that are role players around the stars. But when you have 2 to 3 of them out, 4 of them out, on different occasions, that plays
True.
on the team psyche. That plays on the team psyche, and I think the Diamondbacks are playing games like who's going to get hurt today, or try not to get hurt. Now, and there's a saying in sports: when you try not to get hurt, you're going to get hurt. So
You're just putting
they
bad
have to.
juju out there.
Yeah, exactly. You just go out there and just do your job. I get it, but it's hard. It's hard when it's playing on your psyche. Like we haven't seen what this team's going to be yet because they never had everybody together yet. So we'll see. I don't know. I think Torrey's starting to salvage it, to a degree where he still has the locker room. I'm not saying he's lost the locker room. He still has the locker room, so that's a good sign. But they just need to their starting pitching needs to stay consistent, and the bullpen has just been a blip. I mean, has just been I mean, what's the word for it? Garbage, maybe? I don't know. I mean, they've just been
Blasphemy.
really bad. Yeah, just really bad. Like guys that you were counting on. That we're talking about guys that were on that World Series team and have turned to crap. Like, what happened to Ginkle? What happened to Seawall when he was here? What happened to these guys that were making all those good pitches for us in crucial moments in big games? And
Right.
and remember what I was telling you about earlier? It comes back to that mental toughness.
Yeah.
I'm going to say one thing that I've always been trying to say on airwaves and on my show, and I'm just going to grace it on your show for this 1 second. We as the media might be playing a part in a lot of this mental weakness of our teams here. Because I don't know if you see the pattern. The pattern has always been when a guy's doing well, where is the first place he's going? He's going on a radio show to talk about how good he's doing, how good he was doing. His performance is this, his performance. And as soon as he leaves that radio show, that pressure is on for him to come back and make that performance continue to happen. And he can't do it because he's mentally weak. I'm telling you, it's been that way in Arizona since I've been here. And I've seen it with the Cardinals. I've seen it with the Suns. I've seen it with the Diamondbacks. Those guys come on these radio shows and they are hyped them up. And you did excellent. You were good. And then, you're playing good ball. Keep it up or whatever. And their absolute next outing or next game, they stink it up. and can't bring that
Right.
can't live up to the dang pressure. So I'm not blaming the media. I'm just saying it's a mental thing on the player. If you're not mentally tough, stay off the radio,
Yeah,
stay
just don't
off the
do it.
shows. Yeah, stay off the shows, stay off social media. If you're not mentally tough, stay off all that stuff because that's part of it. I think that's got a lot to do with a lot of things that have been going on with our teams here. I mean, just
And
recently,
that to your point too, a lot of, if you see a lot of, like, outside of Arizona, the big players, like a Tom Brady or of the names, and many others, they really don't go on radio shows. They don't go and speak,
a
or
lot of
anything
them
like
don't.
that. They
Yeah,
are
right,
locked in on doing what they have to do, on
right.
training, on practice, on everything that they need to focus on for that game, for that season. They're not talking any smack. They're just drilled in and dialed in and focused. And
I'm
that's a lot of the things where a lot of
that
what I
look.
see, and players here don't have that.
Yeah, it's about backing up what you say and backing up what you know what you with the name on your back and on the front of the jersey. Like I'm gonna give you an example. When KD was here, of course we had KD. Then we signed Bradley Beal. What was the first thing that came through the media when Book was up? When Devin Booker went up on the podium. He put that pressure out there. Who's going to stop us? Who's going to stop us? Pick your poison. You just put that pressure on that whole squad to have to be that team that nobody can stop. And they never lived up to it because of that pressure. So all I'm saying is this. You might think it's the stupidest thing you heard in your life. It's not because we're all human, and that's how humans react to everything.
Right.
If you can't get up in the and stand through adversity and stand strong and be the same person and mentally fight yourself to stay focused, you don't belong in the limelight. You don't belong with the lights on you.
No.
So you got to be quiet and go ahead and just do your thing out there and stay off the radio, stay off the shows, and stay off the social media stuff. Because I'm telling you,
And how
that's
many players
impressive.
we've seen falter because of it?
Absolutely,
Rookies.
absolutely, absolutely. So many. I mean, our teams have fallen for this so many times, and nobody's really said much about this. But I've sat and watched it every single year. It's like, wow, here we go. When you're talking about the pressure of a game, and you're talking about a superstar that brought it last week, and you had a good game last week, and that pressure's high. Now the pressure pot's building up too high, and then some people can't take that pressure. Now there are guys that are built for that type of stuff.
Yeah.
There are guys that you can talk to them all day long. It ain't gonna matter because guess what? When they get on that court or football field or whatever it may be, they're gonna bring it because they're used to doing it and they know how to bring it mentally. And until we get guys that are mentally tough, I'm telling you, those are my. That's going to be the theme of me going forward with all our Arizona teams. When are we going to get mentally tough? When are we going to
Right.
find mental toughness? Where are we going to find it? Who's going to instill it in this team? Because sometimes it's grown in the person, and sometimes you got to be an example and watch another person do it, and it gives another person that's watching confidence to do it.
It's
So
contagious.
that's why, yeah, it's contagious. That's why your superstars supposed to be those guys. The superstars are the ones supposed to be in the media talking. Yeah, I did so and so. Yeah, we're going to do so and back it up because they know what they're going to come out there and get. That pressure pot's going to build up again. You got to perform. And some guys are built that way of getting through it, and other guys just don't have it. And I'm trying to tell you, Joe, I haven't seen that here. I have not seen that here. There's something with the Arizona sports thing that we have a plateau where we stop at a certain point. And when that
Yeah.
pressure pot gets to that highest point, we falter every time. I mean, it's almost inevitable. It's gonna happen. We're gonna falter. Because I have not seen that superstar that we got that's gonna hold you know, that mental toughness and hold everybody accountable to the mental toughness and watch him do it and they follow him. I haven't seen that.
It's been a
We
very
had
long
the
time since I've seen it.
we had the number one pick in basketball in 2018 when we got DeAndre Ayton. And I was thinking, here we go. This guy's going to be
Mm-mm.
mentally weak, mentally weak. Can't handle the limelight. Can't perform every night. Up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yep. They
Mentally
never got that
weak.
consistency.
Never got it. Never got it. Right now, we're still asking, is Kyler Murray a franchise quarterback? We're still asking that.
I'm gonna
Why?
have to bring you
Up
back
and
for
down.
a different show to talk about that. But yes,
Yeah, up and down, up and down. They get midway through the season, and then in the last part of the season, they falter because why? The mental toughness is not there.
it
I'm
doesn't have
telling you,
it.
Joe. Y'all, people might think this might sound crazy, but I'm telling you, this is what's
No,
happening. This is what's
you're not
going on.
crazy and you're not
And when
wrong.
you think about the Diamondbacks right now, where the Diamondbacks are right now, we need guys that are going to be mentally tough to get up there and do their job. Now, when you talk about mentally tough, slumps happen in baseball all the
Oh,
time.
natural.
Yeah, the best players go through slumps, but the best players know how to get out of those slumps because they're mentally tough. And I like Perdomo. I love Carroll. I love Marte. They got three guys that
Hmm.
have been really mentally tough for the Diamondbacks, and that's why they're hanging and barely going up and down because they got at least those three guys are bringing it. Even when they're in slumps, they're bringing it. They go through their same routine no matter what, and they get out of that slump because they know they're going to get out of it at some point. But
Yeah.
for overall, the whole team needs to follow that and keep that consistent. And I don't know, it's just the player. I don't know, maybe it's just the players we draft or the players that come to Arizona. I don't know what it is. It's in the air. Is it the heat? I don't know what it is. But for
They need to
some
stop
reason, it's
departing.
yeah, our
You
minds,
never
the
know. You
mind,
never
the
know.
mind, the mind is the most dangerous thing in the world. Your
Yeah,
mind
it could
is
be.
your mind is the most dangerous thing in the world. If you don't control your mind, your thought process, man, it can take you all over the place. So that's got a lot to do with where things are. People are not mentally tough, and it's not in everybody. It's not.
Right.
So hopefully
So
we can get
speak
some new players coming in, and we can get some mentally tough guys, some real tough guys that are coming in that's going to just fight no matter what. But we'll see.
Speaking of the mind, we know that rest can also contribute a lot to how you perform out there on the field, on the court, wherever. And the the basketball is coming up with the break with the All-Star, with the game and All-Star week. For the Diamondbacks, do you see this as as a potential reset for them, or they can just be like, okay, we can the players can go ahead and rest, set their mind straight, or is it going to be a reality check for the team as a whole and be like, okay, like whichever way it ends up being, good or
Yeah,
bad, you know,
yeah.
this is what it's gonna, the season that we're gonna face.
It's kind of hard to tell, when you're 500, you don't know if you're a seller or buyer. I mean, it's kind of like, which one am I? Like, I'm 50% of both. So it's kind of like, I don't know. When we get to the trade deadline, this team, I don't know what they want to do right now. I think at this point right now, they need to just start stacking wins now. They need to start winning now. What I mean by stacking wins, like, you're not going to win 10 in a row and 12 or 13 straight. No, but at least you can win four here, lose one, go another 3 game winning streak, lose two, go five. You got to get on a 5, 6 game winning streak. Start to build and catch these teams that are ahead of you. Because if you don't start to build and you stay at 500, then what you do at the trade deadline really ain't gonna matter. I mean, if you're not gonna do nothing that's gonna make you any that much better, so you might as well stay put and be who you are and miss another playoffs, postseason and wait till everybody come back next year healthy and try it all over again. So I don't know. It's kind of hard when you're at 500 and you're going up and down, up and down, up and down. It's like, are we buyers or are we sellers? When do we figure that out? Where's the thin line of how much time you run out of to know if you're a buyer or a seller? I
So
don't
can
know that
can
line.
can this break also break, reset them and turn things around? Is it possible, or is it because of the
Oh
ups and
yeah, it's
downs of the roller
always oh
coaster
it's
too
always
difficult for that to
possible.
happen?
Yeah, it's always possible, Joe. Anything's possible. I mean, when you put your mind to doing everything and you get everything on the right page and you just happen sometimes you get luck involved and bam, that run we did to the World Series, a little bit of luck. What I mean by luck
It was
meaning
all luck, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, man, I can't say all. It was some skill there, and it was good players doing what players do. But at the same time, when you're a championship caliber team, everything meshes together. And when it
Right.
doesn't mesh together, when it doesn't mesh together, and then there's something lacking on one part of it, then you're not going to be that championship team. And sometimes you get lucky where all the pieces just bam happen to fall into place, and it's like, oh wait a minute, we got everything we need. And next thing you know, you're in a dang on playoff series or in a World Series, and you're fighting for a championship. It's like, man, so I don't know, that could happen. That they could go on the trade deadline, in the trade deadline, trade somebody and get a piece here that just fits them perfectly. That brings their bullpen together perfectly. That brings the starting pitchers together perfectly. To bring the batting together perfectly. Everything probably can just fall into place. You never know. Then it could go the opposite way too. You can bring somebody here or don't do something to just get worse and you go down the toilet. So who knows? Sometimes sports is about luck sometimes. So I don't know. This team needs consistent bullpen. They need way back when I did a quick interview with Tori, and I asked. This is way back when. I think it was back in April, May, maybe in May when I asked her, "Do you need to actually go out and get yourself a bona fide closer?" And at that time, he's like, "No, we're good. We got Ginkle coming back. This is the time when Ginkle was hurt. We got Graveman coming back. We got Ginkle, Graveman coming back. We got such pieces. We're waiting on people. We're gonna be fine." And now look at where you are, as opposed to where you were then. So it's like you
You
never
always need a
know where the
closer.
pieces. Yeah, you never know where the pieces are gonna fall. So I'm like, if you had went on and got a closer at that time, who knows where you would be at right now? So who
Much better
knows,
shape for
Joe? I
sure,
don't know. I don't
I
know.
think.
I don't know. It's just gonna be a thing of you go out and you throw a whole bunch of stuff on the fan and see what sticks. And then they're going out making moves. They're making little move at a time. They're making a little move at little. We're trying to see which guy's going to come up there with some confidence and stay confident and get up there and be the guy. But it's been tough. It's been tough. Guys been up and down all over the place.
Yeah. Well, we've covered a lot, Earl, and three teams, so many different trajectories that each of these teams can take.
That's
But
Arizona
one
sports for you.
exactly, that's what I was gonna say. That's Arizona sports, and we never fall short of those storylines. See, you're
Exactly.
reading my mind.
Exactly. Exactly.
But everyone, this is a wrap for this week's episode of Sports Point of View. A huge thank you to you, Earl, our special guest, Earl Burnett, for joining us and breaking things down with the Suns, the Mercury, the Diamondbacks. Getting that insight for our audience here. But before I do let you go, where can folks find you, your work, and keep up with your latest coverage?
At the Casual Sports Radio Network. The website's www.ksrnaz.com. That's the website where you can hear the live radio station playing 24 hours a day. All the shows are on the station. Podcasts, shows, radio shows are all playing 24 hours. So you're not really going to miss anything about all the teams that are going down. Casual Sports Show, which is my show at 8 o'clock every day on the network. And then, of course, on social media, you can find us all at Casual Sports, KAZUAL, and a Z at the end of the word sports on all platforms. You can't miss us. We're there. So appreciate it, Joe. Thanks for having me come in. And we look forward to see the good things you're going to continue to do. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you as always. Great talk. Always talking with you, sports with you, and always for the wonderful support here. But everyone, please make sure that you go out there and you follow Earl, and follow his work, follow him on social media, KSRN. Check out updates on ksrn.com to stay plugged in on all the latest. And as always, everyone, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's show, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share the pod with your fellow sports people. So you can watch episodes every day wherever you get your podcast. You can also watch on YouTube, but you can catch all our episodes every Saturday. Until next time, this is Sports Point of View.